Thanks, Nev, and thank you to the Mines and Money team for the opportunity to present. So AuKing Mining, ASX ticker AKN, it's an exploration company with a range of uranium, copper and niobium rare earth projects. But our primary focus at the moment is our uranium exploration efforts, primarily with a project in southern Tanzania called Makuju, and then a recently acquired early stage exploration play on the island of Newfoundland. And just to pick up on your comment, Nev, the market sentiment in the uranium sector, we've had the massive news in the last few days with Microsoft signing a $16 billion deal with the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant to provide energy for 20 years. So these big AI, data companies are looking for energy sources, and clearly the nuclear sector is something they're focusing on. And then overnight, 14 of the world's largest banks have announced that they're going to cooperate in terms of providing financial assistance and targeted assistance towards the construction of nuclear energy facilities. So all of that's leading towards a lot of positive sentiment in the uranium sector. So next slide, please, Catherine. And so the focus is Makuju in southern Tanzania. It was a project that was acquired for over $1.1 billion back in 2011 by the Uranium One Group, which is ultimately owned by the Russian Rosatom Group. An Australian company, Mantra, carried out a significant amount of work on this project, and we've picked it up. Our Makuju project is right next door to this Niota asset. Next slide, thanks, Catherine. So in more detail, we've carried out a fairly significant amount of work on the ground in preparation for a drilling program that we're ready to commence. So we've identified some significant occurrences of uranium by way of auger, soil and rock chip samples, and then using, as that slide indicates, the historical radiometric survey, which coincides with or has a very similar signature to the Niota project, which is a world-class uranium deposit, which is just to the north. So we've got a 11,000 metre drilling program that's ready to start. We've been through all of the internal approvals within Tanzania. We've got a drilling contractor lined up, and so it's about the process now. We're just looking to secure some funding by way of an entitlement issue, and I might go to the next slide with that, Catherine. Thanks. So at the moment, yeah, so we're looking at raising just under $1.5 million from existing shareholders by way of an entitlement offer. We've got Nev is very importantly assisting us on the shortfall with that proposed raising. So what we're looking to do with the capital raising, there's a significant allocation of funding towards the drilling, the proposed drilling at Makuju. We're also looking at a radiometric survey on our niobium rare earths project, and then the Newfoundland uranium project is also aimed at, we're looking to do a soil sampling program there. Some historical uranium occurrences of 22,000 ppm uranium in that area gives us quite a lot of encouragement. And there's an existing ASX listed company, Infini Resources, who are at the moment carrying out a significant program a couple of 100 kilometres to the north of that project in Newfoundland, and they're generating some exciting soil results. So we're in a position, the focus is on the uranium sector. We've got an exciting project called Makuju, which is in a very, very well-known area, and we're ready to drill, and that's the purpose of this capital raising exercise. And at this stage, I think I'm just about up for time. So I'd appreciate any questions that people may like to raise, and hope the investors are gentle with their questions. Thanks again for the opportunity.
Well, fantastic presentation, and thanks very much. So just what I did note, if anyone's got a question, there is a chat box or the Q&A, and please feel free to add some questions. I might kick off. Paul, uranium, flavour of the month, as you mentioned, you've got some wide, different projects. One of them that you've just really recently picked up, the Codroy project, 22,000 ppm. I mean, what are you expecting from there? And also, you've got an updated drill program coming up as well. Some exciting developments with the use of funds, and just for transparency, obviously, Peak Asset Management were leading the raise, and we've just recently, I personally put in, I think, around $85,000 in the placement, so we are aligned. So yeah, look, just probably two questions there on the two projects.
Yes. Oh, look, so Grand Codroy, the Newfoundland project, it's early stage, but you're going in there with known mineral occurrences, and with those sorts of grades, if we could, and some of the grades that Infinity are reporting to the north, like we're in a different geological unit, but it creates a lot of interest. It's a North American project. It potentially has a similar style to the United States uranium deposits. So look, we're very happy to have been able to pick that project up, Nev, and then obviously with the Drill Ready project in southern Tanzania, we're working closely with the Russian group. They're making available their camp facilities. They've got a laboratory there. So one important thing is we'll be generating results very quickly after drilling starts from preliminary XRF readings and assay readings.
Richard or Jeremy, any questions for Paul or for any from the audience?
Well, I've just got one question. I mean, Tanzania as a jurisdiction, it's had its ups and downs over the years. Acacia obviously being the best example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually quite invested in the graphite space, so I'm quite sympathetic to your situation, because the graphite guys suffer from the same kinds of jurisdictional risk. Can you just tell the viewers a bit about your experience working there? Perhaps paint a picture.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, you look at yes. Look, that's an excellent question. I'll start firstly with what we're seeing. That the government and President Samia is really focused on. Well, I think that she set a target of 10% of the GDP in Tanzania would be sourced from the mining sector by 2025. They've already gone past that. There's a lot, and when you see, the big companies, there's some major projects underway in Tanzania. You are right, though. There's some ups and downs. Where we did have a couple of licenses in another area that were taken away from us at an early stage, which caused us some grief. But that's a separate and distinct issue. There were some issues around overlapping titles and things, which unfortunately, it got us caught. But in terms of Makuju, we've got clear title, 100% ownership, and look, at all indications from the Tanzanian government and the Mining Commission officials is they're very supportive for the investment that's coming in already.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you two quick things. I'm not very familiar with the jurisdiction, so I would ask first, what's the kind of situation, kind of expanding on what Jeremy asked, the rest of the explorers, like the sector locally, if you can mention a couple companies that are active and what's kind of what they have experienced, and that in a more wider perspective, if you could point out one or two peers more generally, not necessarily operating in the country, but two companies that you would feel are, let's say, logical peer, or that you feel it's a relevant peer.
Well, yeah. Well, Paolo, in terms of the participation by some of the, you've got, the Barracks have been operating, their gold mines in the northwestern area of Tanzania. BHP in the last 18 months or so went back into a large nickel project. There's offshore oil and gas projects that have got all the major players. Like in terms of contemporaries for us, you do have Lotus, for example. They have a significant uranium deposit just over the border to the south in Malawi. We've by and large got a foothold on the uranium assets, but then of course Rosatom, the Russian group, they own the Niota deposit. There's another Perth-based group, Moab Minerals, that are doing some work on some ground in central uranium ground in central Tanzania. It's from a uranium perspective, everything's shut down for many years, and it's only been in more recent times that things have started to wind up again. But no, look, it's there's a Jeremy mentioned that there's a significant number of graphite companies that are well advanced with feasibility studies and funding. So yeah, there's a lot going on over there, and we've participated in a couple of conferences in Dar es Salaam and in Tanzania, and there's an enormous amount of interest in the resource sector.